The top stories tonight in Y News. Get the latest updates on the track and strength of Typhoon Cagay as it moves away from the Philippine area of responsibility. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. reports commitment of Malaysian businessmen to pledge $285 million worth of investment to the Philippines. The retrieval operation of the Philippine Coast Guard, together with various disaster response groups, continues for the passengers of the boat that capsized in Laguna Lake in Binangonan, Rizal. And Moscow City Court sentences a Russian cybersecurity head to 14 years in prison for passing information to foreign spies. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Thursday, the 27th of July, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am William Theo. First in the news, 400 houses are still submerged in floodwater in Abulog, Cagayan. Meanwhile, an hectare's worth of corn and rice crops have also been drowned in water. Some residents stayed on the roads waiting out the storm. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
The province of Cagayan has been devastated by Typhoon Cagay. Nevertheless, it suffered significant damage from the storm. In Barangay Gidam, Abulog, Cagayan, 400 families are now taking shelter on the roads as their homes are submerged in water.
Cash basin din po kami kasi baha din po sa Apayao, tapos dito po sa Pamplona, pumunta din po dito. Nadagdagan lang po yung tubig dahil po dun sa NIA.
Although there are evacuation centers available, they choose to construct makeshift shelters on the roads to keep watch over their houses. Aling Cora, together with her family, patiently awaits the floodwaters to recede so they can return to their home. With only a few belongings they could carry, they are now relying on the assistance provided by the local government.
Alis naman kami, sir, pero yung mga gamit namin nandyan lang sa loob. Yung mga gamit lang namin na konti ang nadala namin. Bale, pangalawang beses na ngayon, sir. Nandyan naman yung bahay namin, sir. Hindi naman kami maiwan-iwan yung bahay namin.
Aside from homes, vast hectares of corn and rice fields in Cagayan are also underwater. As of 8 p.m. yesterday, July 26, Wednesday, the initial recorded agricultural damage in the province of Cagayan due to Typhoon Cagay amounted to 233,546,644 pesos. According to the initial data from the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office of Cagayan, the damage affects 29,900 hectares of agricultural land from 17 municipalities in the province. The majority of the damage is in the corn fields, amounting to 217,414,818 pesos, followed by 14.5 million pesos from high-valued commercial crops, mostly vegetables, and 1,631,826.78 pesos from rice crops. A total of 31,739 farmers are severely affected from the towns of Santa Ana, Camalanogan, Lasam, Abulog, Igig, Rizal, Santo Niño, Tuaw, Alcala, Gonzaga, Bagao, Alacapan, Bugay, Piat, Sulana, Peña Blanca, and Aparri. The primary cause of their damaged corn crops was the heavy rain and strong winds that battered their fields. Most of the affected crops were in the seedling to reproductive and vegetative stages. Apart from the agricultural sector, significant damage to infrastructure was also caused by Typhoon Cagay. In the fisheries sector, the damage reached 470,384,256.46 pesos, and livestock damage amounted to 189,000 pesos from 5 municipalities in Cagayan. Alan Manansala, UNTV News The Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, dredging projects and construction of dikes helped to avoid flash flooding in Marikina River despite reaching second alarm. JP Nunez will tell us why.
At 11:11 a.m. earlier today, July 27, Marikina River has been raised to second alarm due to rains brought by Typhoon Cagay. Preemptive evacuation were imposed among its residents to avoid casualties once flash flooding occurs. But based on the report of the Marikina City Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office or CDRRMO, there was no resident needed to be evacuated as there was no areas in Marikina reached by water, even low-lying barangays.
Sa pagmamonitor natin simula kahapon hanggang ngayon actually, wala naman tayong monitor na pagbaha sa mga streets po natin at sa mga komunidad natin.
According to its CDRRMO, the dredging project and the construction of dike in Tumana help avoid the possible flash floods in residential areas.
Epekto yan nung ginawa po natin na mga dredging projects natin, hinukay natin yung ilog para lumalim at lumapad, mapalaki natin yung water carrying capacity ng Marikina River at mapabilis natin yung flow ng tubig. Kaya naman kahit na tumaas kami sa second alarm, wala tayong pagbaha dun sa mga communities namin.
Based on the report of the Marikina Rescue 161, water level in Marikina River continued to subside in 15.2 meters as of 7 p.m. First alarm is still raised. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, conducted a search and rescue operation for their 4 missing personnel after their aluminum boat overturned during the rescue operation yesterday, July 26. They attempted to rescue 7 crew members of M-Tug Iroquois that were trapped 21 nautical miles from Aparri, Cagayan at the height of Typhoon Cagay. Unfortunately, they encountered strong winds and huge waves, causing the boat to capsize. The PCG will send a helicopter to the site to assist in the search and rescue operations. Meanwhile, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. met with business leaders in Malaysia. According to the president, Malaysian businessmen have expressed interest to invest in the Philippines. Nel Maribuhok will give us the details why.
The Philippines has gained around $235 million investment commitments from Malaysian investors in various sectors during President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s state visit in Malaysia. The president had meetings with businessmen from various sectors on Thursday morning, including agriculture, transportation, and technology.
The investment commitments that we have received thus far are valued at around $235 million. Which is a good indication that there is strong interest from Malaysia to invest in the Philippines.
During the business forum in Kuala Lumpur, President Marcos said the Malaysian business leaders have expressed keen interest to invest in the food processing industry, multi-service digital platforms, aviation, logistics, manufacturing, infrastructure, water and wastewater treatment in the Philippines. During the meeting, the chief executive emphasized that the Philippines has shown healthy signs of economic recovery amid the global challenges brought about by the pandemic. As he noted that the Philippines registered 7.6 GDP growth last year. PBBM added his administration continues to seek ways to ensure a conducive business environment for foreign investors as he bared the business-related policies aimed at simplifying procedures and shortening processing periods to ensure ease of doing business in the Philippines.
We have recently established green lanes for strategic investments. It is a means of applying the whole of government approach so as to make it easier for our foreign partners to facilitate to work in the highest levels of government and to make the critical investments that are necessary for the development and competitiveness in the Philippines.
President Marcos was set to return to the Philippines on Thursday night. Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, Niger President Mohamed Bazoum has been removed from power in a military coup. This cited concerns over the country's security situation and difficulties for Western efforts in combating the jihadists in the Sahel region. Nerissa Dando will tell us why live. Yes, Nerissa, good evening.
Good evening, Giona. Late on Wednesday, July 26, the military announced on national television that Niger President Mohamed Bazoum has been removed from power just hours after the president was detained in the presidential palace. After Colonel Amado Abramani, flanked by 9 other officers, who read a statement explaining that the decision was made due to the worsening security conditions and poor governance. This led to Niger's borders closing down, a nationwide curfew has been declared, and all institutions of the republic are suspended until further notice. However, the soldiers emphasized that they would respect Bazoum's safety while asserting their opposition to any foreign intervention. Bazoum's presidency was a significant moment for Niger, as it marked the first democratic transition of power in a nation with a history of military coups since gaining independence from France in 1960. Western nations, including the United States and the European Union, have invested substantial resources in supporting Niger's security forces and stability. However, the coup raises concerns about potential instability and a power vacuum, which may offer opportunities for other actors such as Russia to increase their influence in the region. Meanwhile, France, a key contributor to the region's security efforts, has previously moved troops from Mali to Niger due to strained relations with Mali's interim authorities, and French special forces were withdrawn from Burkina Faso amid similar tensions. The international community closely monitors the situation in Niger, evaluating its impact on regional security and stability. Back to you, Giona.
Thank you, Nerissa, for that live report. The use of electronic firearm tracing are in agreement by both the United States and Mexico in efforts to track guns taken from criminal organizations. RK Yorka will tell us why.
More discussion amongst officials regarding the two nations' collaboration will happen this week regarding the tracking of United States firearms that make their way to Mexican cartels. Rosa Isela Rodriguez, Mexico's security minister, announced in a press conference on Wednesday that the two nations agreed to electronically monitor firearms seized from the cartels and criminals in Mexico. Mexico's Foreign Minister Alicia Bárcena added that they want the United States' help to end the flow of firearms that provides the Mexican cartels with strength. According to the Mexican Defense Ministry, over 2,000 firearms are imported into Mexico per year, with some 70% seized in crimes in Mexico being from the U.S. Meanwhile, interventions that Mexico has proposed to prevent the Mexican cartels from acquiring guns are mainly to revoke firearms licenses to stores that provided the cartels with supplies and more arrests. RK Llorca, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, William.
Thank you, Giona. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. More reasons behind the stories when Y News returns. Presidential sister Senator Amy Marcos is doubtful over the resolution seeking to elevate the West Philippine Sea issue to the United Nations General Assembly, or UNGA. The senator believes it would only cause tension and disgrace to the country should the Philippines fail to gather enough support from member countries. She adds this may also weaken the country's 2016 arbitral ruling victory.
Ang laking kahiyan pag natalo pa tayo sa General Assembly. Sigurado ba tayo mananalo tayo dyan? Baka sa ASEAN lang kulang na yung boto. Mas lalong malulusaw yung ating claim.
An executive session and caucus will be held on Monday before the Senate tackles the resolution once again in the plenary. Meanwhile, the Department of Health, or DOH, had its first day of the National Health Sector meeting today. Among the topics discussed are the agency's ways forward embodying the fulfillment of universal health care for all Filipinos. Also discussed were the action plans like line with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s vision of a bagong Pilipinas encapsulating the realization of the universal health care. Health Secretary Ted Herbosa emphasized the tenets of the 8-point health sector agenda guided by the UHC and the Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028. The said assembly was attended by the department's key officials, attached agencies, medical center chiefs, and heads of various DOH health institutions, with a goal to achieve the full institutionalization of UHC within the Philippines. In other news, the Department of Justice, or DOJ, disclosed there are possibly 2 to 3 mass graves inside the New Bilibid prison, or NBP. Dante Amento tells us why.
Department of Justice, or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boyeng Rimulya said the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, discovered remains such as bones as digging continues through septic tanks inside the New Bilibid Prison, or NBP maximum security compound. These tanks are allegedly used as mass graves.
There are 2 or 3 septic tanks inside that area that may possibly be areas where mass graves are located.
Rimulya believes more deep secrets will be unearthed in the next few days.
And so far, they have found human bones inside one of the septic tanks, which alerts us to the fact that the story may have something within it, no? Na pwedeng may nangyayari pa misteryoso sa loob ng NBP.
But considering the long history of NBP, Rimulya further said they will be needing experts such as forensic anthropologists to determine how long these remains kept hidden inside the tanks. The issue of mass graves inside the NBP surfaced when an inmate, Michael Angelo Cataroha, went missing for over a week. The DOJ suspects his decapitated body was the one found in the Sputnik gang quarters.
May tinatago talaga nila yan Pero nung marami na talaga nauungkat, saka nila nilabas kasi para wag nang hanapin pa. Lumalabas kaya nga umabot na sa septic tank yung hanapan
Rimulya and Bureau of Corrections, or Bucor Chief Pio Katapang, are set to meet tomorrow to discuss these new discoveries inside the National Penitentiary. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Department of Justice, or DOJ, is eyeing not to bring new convict inmates to the New Bilibid Prison, or NBP. Justice Chief Crispin Boyeng Rimulya explained this would allow them not to experience the dehumanized situation inside the National Penitentiary.
Hindi na siya within human bounds. Nawawala na yung identity ng mga tao. They become numbers and they become something like ghosts. Para sila nagmumulto na lang na tao. Wala na silang identities. They are treated as non-entities when we have prisons like this. That's why the drive to put up regional prisons is really strong, because that is the only right thing to do.
Rimulya added new convicts will be brought directly to regional prisons instead. This is also part of the government's plan to decongest the NBP. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, confirms that 13 of the 18 senior officers whose courtesy resignations were accepted by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. remain on their posts. PNP spokesperson Police Colonel Jean Fajardo said the PNP are yet to receive a copy of the document signed by the President, so they are yet to decide on the 13 third-level officers. PNP Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. said yesterday that they are seeking to have a meeting in the palace for some clarification.
Unang-una nga po ay wala pa po tayong opisyal na kopya po ng dokumento na pinirmahan po ng ating presidente para tignan po kung ano po ba yung specific wordings po doon kung may mga kulatilya. Dahil kung matatandaan niyo po nung nagkaroon po ng panawagan, there was a pronouncement before that once our resignation will be accepted, we will be considered as optionally retired for purposes of at least receiving po yung aming mga retirement benefits.
Meanwhile, the other 5 officers were already on floating status in a personnel holding and accounting unit. Last January, Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos called the third-level officers to submit their courtesy resignations as they need to undergo an assessment of the 5-man advisory group on their alleged involvement in illegal drugs.
In other global news, the United States Department of State announced on Wednesday, July 26, that Thomas West and Rina Amiri will meet with representatives from Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan in Astana, Kazakhstan. The United States Special Representatives Thomas West and the U.S. Special Envoy for Afghan Women, Girls and Human Rights, Rina Amiri, will meet a delegation of Taliban representatives and other Afghan government representatives in the Qatari capital Doha. They will discuss critical interests in Afghanistan at the Doha conference, according to a statement from the State Department. Critical issues will include humanitarian assistance for the Afghan people, economic stabilization, and fair and dignified treatment of all Afghans, particularly women and girls, security concerns, and measures to combat drug production and trafficking. Later that day, the State Department emphasized that the scheduled meetings in Doha do not represent a shift in the U.S. position. They added that it is not intended to imply any type of acknowledgement or any kind of normalization or legitimacy of the Taliban. Meanwhile, late last year, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken warned the Taliban of the repercussions if it does not reform its policy on women's and girls' education. One of Russia's top cybersecurity executives has been sentenced to 14 years in prison for passing information to foreign spies. 37-year-old tech chief Ilya Sachkov is the latest in the list of people charged with treason, which includes scientists, soldiers, officials, and former journalists. In the closed-door trial on Wednesday, July 26, at the Moscow City Court, Judge Alexander Rybak ruled Sachkov guilty under Article 275 of Russia's Criminal Code. Sachkov was arrested back in September 2021 by Russia's Federal Security Service, or FSB. Sachkov is known to be the co-founder of Group IB, one of Russia's most prominent cybersecurity firms. Sachkov has denied wrongdoing, and his legal team will appeal the conviction, while also requesting for intervention from Russian President Vladimir Putin. Though Sachkov no longer has associations with the company, he has a share ownership in Group IB, which is no longer identified as a Russian business after renaming to FACCT and moving its headquarters to Singapore earlier this year. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Giona Pravado, live from London, United Kingdom. Good evening.
The retrieval operation of the Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG, together with various disaster response groups, continue for the passengers of the boat that sank in Laguna Lake in Binangonan, Rizal. The agency reported that they are still confirming the 30 casualties or deaths of passengers from the boat that came from Preti, Binangonan, Rizal, and was supposed to cross to Talim Island. The Philippine Coast Guard allowed the boats to sail despite the strong waves and winds this morning. At around 4 a.m., the number of boats from Talim Island carrying passengers going to work and to shop began to increase. However, a tragedy occurred after one passenger boat with more than 60 passengers on board sank. Typhoon Doksuri, formerly Cagay, maintains its strength as it moves west-northwestward away from the Philippine Area of Responsibility, or PAR. As of 5 p.m. today, July 27, the tropical cyclone was located at 280 kilometers west-northwest of Itbayat, Batanes, packing maximum sustained winds of 150 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 185 kilometers per hour. At present, it is moving west-northwestward at 10 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, Philippine Weather Bureau Pag-asa monitors a tropical depression moving outside PAR. It is located at 1,470 kilometers east of eastern Visayas, packing maximum sustained winds of 55 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 70 kilometers per hour. At present, it is moving west-northwestward at 20 kilometers per hour. Wind signal number 1 is still raised in areas of Batanes, northern portions of Apayao, Ilocos Norte, and the south-northwestern portion of Cagayan, including Babuyan Islands. The southwest monsoon that is enhanced by Typhoon Doksuri will continue to bring occasional to monsoon rains over the western portions of northern and central Luzon and southern Luzon in the next 3 days. Areas of Metro Manila, the rest of Cordillera Administrative Region, and the rest of Cagayan Valley, the rest of Central Luzon, the rest of Mimaropa and Calabarzon will also experience scattered rain showers and thunderstorms. Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you the word giving glory to God from the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. It says, I exhort therefore that first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men. And those are the reasons behind the news, July 27, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.